This past February, the Diocese of Orange acquired the Crystal Cathedral campus in a bankruptcy sale. The iconic glass church in Garden Grove became home to the ministry of Reverend Robert Schuller in 1980.
Although the transition to the new Catholic cathedral will be gradual, a few key decisions have been made. Maria Hall Brown talks with Father Chris Smith, who will oversee the newly renamed Christ Cathedral, about his new role as vicar and his regard for Dr. Schuller.
The California roots of this Catholic priest grow deep indeed.
I'm a seventh-generation Californian. My great-great-grandmother was Maria de los Reyes Dominguez, and she was part of the Dominguez family that used to have the Rancho San Pedro, which is now the Palos Verdes Hills and San Pedro and all that place out there, big old rancho.
But a smaller ranch owned by his grandparents gave Father Smith his first glimpse at the preacher who would build the property that Father Smith will now care for.
On this side there were eucalyptus trees. We used to call them gum rows. I remember Mom said those are gum rows, kids, and those that keeps the wind from damaging the orange trees.
Nice.
Yeah, and so what we used to do is we would go to Mass on Sunday morning. We'd come out to Grandma and Grandpa's house, and that was the big treat because this was like the country. My mom and dad, I grew up on Batavia Street in Orange, and we drove out here to Grandma and Grandpa's house. So after Mass, and we knew that this young preacher was preaching from the roof of the snack bar of the drive-in theater.
Yeah.
And there's all these cars there with speakers in them listening to the guy preach. And the night before, there's all these people listening to the movie that was playing on the screen. And as kids, we thought this was so cool. I mean,
unbelievable.
It was unbelievable, yeah.
The drive-in congregation moved here in 1980, but with the recent Catholic Diocese of Orange purchase of the property, Father Smith will soon be responsible for this house of worship with a view to the heavens.
What does it mean that you are going to be the Episcopal Vicar of the Crystal Cathedral? And what responsibilities does that include?
Well, it means that I will be the bishop's representative over the work of this whole campus, because the campus will include the work of the cathedral itself, the work of the parish that will be part of the cathedral, the work of the school, the diocesan offices, and the memorial gardens. So there's several entities that will be part of this campus. I am, in the name of the bishop, responsible for the cathedral itself. So he is ultimately responsible for everything, but I'm his person on site and on the boards and those kinds of things.
As things transition from the legacy of the Crystal Cathedral to the future of Christ Cathedral, a chance encounter seems to have been heaven sent for Father.
The opportunity for you to meet Dr. Schuller,
yes,
was a very impactful one for you.
It was very powerful. I got to meet him at an event a couple of weeks ago, and I was introduced to him as the cathedral vicar, the person who will be overseeing the work of the church here eventually. And we were out, and there was a group of people around, and Dr. Schuller, I remember him saying this, and he was just looking right there at me, and he says, I built the cathedral for Christ. He said, I always wanted the cathedral for Christ. Then he said, and I know with the Roman Catholic Church, it will be for Christ forever. And I thought, oh wow, that's very powerful. I mean, coming from the man who built this place, and the real depth of his heart of wanting this place for Christ. And
he had a personal message for you too.
Oh, he did. Interesting you say that, because oh my gosh, I took that away with me. Yes, yeah. In fact, I wrote it right down. There's these books on the table. I wrote it right down, so I would never ever forget it.
Indeed. In Garden Grove, I'm Maria Hall Brown, Real Orange.
And the Crystal Cathedral Ministry announced it will leave its glass house of worship in June of 2013, moving to St. Callista's Catholic Church. The terms of the sale with the diocese will allow the ministry to move there rent-free for 2 years.
Since I haven't attended the church, I'll let you know it at 9:30 and 11 every Sunday morning. We still are going strong. Bobby Schuller, the grandson of Robert Schuller, is in the pulpit along with Reverend Lawrence Wilkes, just so folks will know. We're still there.